I will be teaching you how to use Eclipse Studio Paint. I will do this in parts because it's kind of hard to explain everything in one video. So for now, I will be discussing the tools so that you know at least that part. That's actually one of the first things that you need to know. Anyways, let's jump over to the next scene. So there you go. This is how Clip Studio would usually look like whenever you download it. I am using Clip Studio X, but it shouldn't be much difference between Clip Studio X and Clip Studio Pro. There are several things that Clip Studio Paint is better, especially for animation and webtoon creation, but Pro should be enough if you are only going for illustration or you're not very well, you're still testing out the waters for creating webtoons. Okay, so let's see here. I want us to focus on the left side of the screen. This is basically your tools. This is the most common tools that you will be using for Clip Studio. Okay, so let me go ahead and zoom in first. Let's go ahead and create a new file. So all you need to do is click on File. Yes, it should be the one in the top part that says File. And then you need to click New. Or if you're using Windows, you can use Control N. Not really sure how it works for Mac though. So click on that one and you will get a pop-up that looks like this. So, it is automatic for me that it goes to Webtoon, but if you're only going to be creating illustrations, this should be good enough. We will talk deeper about this setup here, but for now, I'll just create a new illustration so I can explain to you the tools on the left. So this is my canvas currently, and then I'll zoom in on the left side of the screen. There you go. So as you can see, we're a bit closer on the left side of the screen and we have several tools. One of the advantages of Clip Studio Paint is that whenever you hover on something, it does tell you what basically it is. So let's click on the first tool, which is the zoom tool. And yes, all you need to do here is, well, click on it and you should have the option. Usually it does do or provide you the zoom in function first. Drag your mouse and it should zoom in and out. On iPad or Samsung or Android tablets or phones, all you need to do is, well, use your fingers to zoom in and out, just like whenever you zoom in a photo. If you notice as well, there is another window tool here and it says sub tool. This will give you a lot of other options. So if you click on the zoom tool right here, and you will see here that you have two options for zoom. You can either zoom in, or if you want to zoom out, you can click on zoom out and okay, you can zoom out. I think I zoom in too. Zoom in too much. There you go. See? And then one more thing, you can use the scroll wheel for your mouse to make it a bit, well, give to zoom out the canvas. Next tool is the move tool, or basically, yeah, it's usually here on the hand tool. It basically just helps you move your canvas whatever or whichever direction you want it to. Rotate is basically you rotating the canvas like so. Okay, next is this is the operations tool. It is a bit more complicated, so we'll just skip that. But yeah, it has a lot of options. Most of it used for animation, but definitely still very useful when it comes to creating illustrations or webtoon. Next is the move layer, and as you can see, yes, there is a shortcut. You can press K for that one, and you have several other options here. So with that, you can move your layer, you can move tone patterns or the grid. I don't really use this too often, so we'll focus on the move layer. Here's an example. If I create a layer and then I draw something, by the way, I'm using my mouse, so my drawing isn't that good. Please excuse it. And then I go back to the move tool. It will help me move the layer I selected to an area where I wanted to place it, just like so. Okay, so again, we'll not talk about the other two. I don't really often use this, and I'm sure you guys wouldn't use it as much as well. So I'm moving on to the selection area. Usually you'll see this as a square. And if you are familiar with Photoshop, it's the Marquee Tool. So all you need to do is drag your mouse into the area that you want it, and you will see that it highlighted or covered the area inside a box. Now, you will see here the additional options at the bottom. And again, one exciting thing about Eclipse Studio is that whenever you hover over a icon, it does tell you what it basically is. So if I click on this one, it will deselect. If I click on this should crop it. Yes, this is also the way I usually crop. Another thing is that it can invert selected area. It can expand the selected area as well if you want to. And it can shrink the area. This one, you can delete it. You can delete outside selection. You can even cut and paste it, or copy and paste. You can even scale or rotate. Fill tool, if you want any tone, that's fine. As well as you can selection launcher settings. I don't really often use this, so let's go ahead and deselect this for now. Next, we do have the Eclipse tool. Eclipse is still under the selection area. It's basically the same thing, but instead of a square, you get a circle. That the lasso tool, I think it's the same as any other software as well. You can draw over something and it will select it for you. Okay, so again, same thing with the selection icons here. Polyline, this should help you select area, especially if it is very edgy. Okay, so if we are going to select a specific area, such as maybe inverted triangle, okay, all I need to do is click on a spot like so, and then move my mouse to another area, click that spot, and then move my mouse again in another area that I wanted. And then to close everything up, I just need to click on the first square. And now I have selected that area. Okay, now let's move on to the other tools. There are other things that you could do here. I don't really often use this, but you can play around if you wish to do so. One tool again is another thing that you can see in almost any editing software. So it's pretty simple. All you need to do is click on an area and it should cover the areas that you clicked on. Okay, there you go. Let's move on now to the eyedropper. The eyedropper basically helps you choose the color that you wanted. You just need to click on the area where the color is. So, for this one, let me go ahead and try to get the black here. And as you can see here, the color change. If I wanted to go to white, I can do like that, or better yet, just double click this and you can have other options here. But anyways, moving on now to the subtool. Yes, you can obtain the color for all of the layers if you choose this one, but if you're only looking for a specific layer, for example, you have several layers already, but there's a specific spot that you wanted to get the color from, choose that specific layer and then choose this one, and that should help you get the color that you are choosing. But let's go ahead and talk about the tools. And this area right here covers mostly drawing tools. Okay, so this is the pen tool. Basically, you have other options for presets. That die pen is something that I downloaded. It's downloaded from the asset store. Anyways, if you're gonna use preset tools, you have G pen, real G pen. You just need to click on that one. Okay, so for example, if I'm gonna use the G pen, I'll just click on it and it should give me the option to draw using that pen that I chose. Another thing is on the top part, you see there's another tab and it says marker. This should give me markers. So if I probably if I wanted to color in something, I can use that marker. Like that. Okay, and yes, the textures do change depending on what you choose. Okay, although it doesn't really show here because I'm using my mouse. If you're using a sensitivity pen or something that can detect sensitivity of pressure, then yeah, it will definitely show the difference. Next is another tool is the pencil tool, and you will usually see it as a pencil icon, and it will give you several pencils that you can use. You can use this for sketches and whatnot. Another thing is pastels. Yes, I don't often use this, but you never know. Maybe you guys will. But one thing, one technique, or one trick that I can show you guys is that you can actually put things together. For example, you want more space on this side because your screen isn't so big. So I would save space by dragging this tab, the pencil tab, and placing it here on the first icon or the pen icon. Okay, and then if I click on the pen, you see here I have now 3 tabs. So let's do the same thing again for the pastels. I'll click on the pastel tab, drag it over to the first icon right here, and I now have 4 tabs. It works the same way with tablet and I believe in uh, Samsung devices. Okay, so next is your brushes. Again, preset brushes are provided. You have other options right here. And then so you have the airbrush options. And yes, there are preset brushes or pretty brushes that you can download from the asset store. These are already downloaded automatically when I downloaded Eclipse Studio. Okay, but yeah, there are a lot of choices on the asset store. Next, eraser tool. You have a lot of options here. Okay, so if I choose the hard option, it will basically clean it or erase it in a clean line. If I use soft, as you can see, it's like there's like a blurry part. Okay, this is pretty good if you want to like blend stuff and you don't want to use the blend tool. Next, again, yeah, different textures as well is available. So you can just play around whichever you think is perfect for your work. Another thing is a blend. So I do love the blending options here on Clip Studio. Uh, it's similar to Paint Tool Sai, basing on my experience. So yeah, it's pretty cute. So you have other options. You can just blur it if you choose the blend, the preset blend. It does actually really do blend it. The fingertips, it drags it. Okay, if you can see, woo, it drags it. And then there are other options here as well. You can play along with it. And there's correction line icon right here. This is mostly used for vectors, which we won't cover for now, so we'll skip this. This is the fill tool, basically just, same thing with any other applications. It does fill a specific spot in your canvas. Although you do have other options here, which is again a bit more complicated, so let's just skip that for now. Now, gradients. Gradients, you can create your own gradients here at the bottom where it says tool property. Okay, so if I want to, I can just click on the square right here and then choose the color that I wanted on the color wheel. It should change like so. Okay, and then if I want to add more, just click on the plus sign here. But honestly, I don't really use this often because I just like to download stuff from the asset store. Most of the things that you need are there. It does save me a lot of time. Anyways, another thing is creating your lines. I do love this one because I usually use my iPad creating my webtoon. So this helps me save up a lot of memory and space. So all you need to do is click whichever one you want. It's pretty self-explanatory that if you click on straight, it should draw you a straight line. If you're going to go for curve, it helps you create a curved line, wee, like that. And now if you want to do the polyline, it's the same with the selection tool, but instead of it selecting an area, it creates lines. Ta-da! Now, there are other options again. Please play around. You never know, maybe you need it. I usually love to use this, the straight line, the rectangle, and the polyline for my webtoons. Anyways, if you have high memory and if you're using Eclipse Studio on your PC, you can use frames. This is great because if you created a frame, then you will not be able to draw over it. So for example, I'll create that one and then let's draw something. So if I would draw, let's say a heart, whoop, oh, as you can see, it doesn't go over the box that we have created. So yes, this is supposed to be a heart, okay? This is a, yeah, as you can see, it really doesn't go over it. So it does really quite help, especially with the cleanup. There are other options that you can have here. You can create poly frame. Okay, so if we want some unique shapes, you can do so. And another cute thing about this is that they actually put this in a separate layer. See? So you have different layers for different panels. So, or boxes. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the ruler tool. Ruler tool just helps you be more stable, especially when you are creating straight lines. Not only straight lines, you can actually use this to create a curve ruler to help you create your curved shapes. There's even a symmetry tool or symmetry ruler so that if you're drawing the left side, it automatically draws the right side for you. I'll cover that in another video as well. Next icon will be the text. So all you need to do is click that and then click anywhere on your screen and type whatever you wanted like that. Yes. Alright. Now, and yes, you can definitely change the font. You only need to highlight this and then choose underneath the subtool window. There will be tool properties and you have whatever you can use whatever text that you have installed in your computer or a tablet. I don't really have my presets for I don't really have the text or the fonts that I use for my webtoon here because I usually use my webtoon, my iPad to create my webtoon. So let's try. I will choose this one, and as you can see, it does change my font style. And yes, you can increase the size like so. You can even make it smaller, or you can do that. I don't forget what it's called, but yes, you can. Next is that this is the balloon tool, and yes, you can press T. This is a very useful tool for webtoon creators. You can do this and create a balloon. If you use rounded balloon, you'll get that, and then you can choose balloon tail, and you will have the tail, and that's basically it. There is also a Eclipse tool, so it's a bit more circular than the rounded. Okay, so if usually I like whenever I create thought bubbles, instead of using the balloon tail option here that creates actually the thought balloon tail that creates that, I just like to use the Eclipse balloon, and it gives me better control on the balloon tail. Okay, so I'll be jumping over here at the bottom part of the screen, and yes, the dual property changes depending on the tool that you have used. So yes, you have to control the brush size. You can do it so here. You can even control other things here, but I highly suggest to use the brush size here if you're using your tablet or if you're using Windows. You can always just use a shortcut key to change your brushes. But if you cannot be bothered to do that, just you can just click here and it should automatically choose the sizes that you wanted. Okay, now we do have a color wheel right here. So yes, RGB guys. And there are several tabs at the top, so it means you have other options there. I do have here, the next tab is basically the color sets that has already been saved in my computer. I can create a new one if I want to, but I'll do that in another video. Another one is you can choose the color using this thingy right here. I forgot what it's called, but all you need to do is drag it to left to right, and then you'll see the color that you have chosen right here. Next, another thing is this is the blend. I'll talk about this in another video, guys. And then next, just things that you use for animation. Let's jump to the right side. Right side of the screen, we do have several tabs here. First tab you will see is the navigation tab, and then it basically helps you to zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Okay, I'm sorry. And you can even rotate using this. Now, what if I rotated it like that and I can't get it to go back to the way it was? Don't panic. We do have a reset tool right here. See? Reset rotation. Just click on that and boom! It is back to its proper place. Another thing is that layer property, layers, and animation cells. We can just skip this for now. It's a bit more advanced, but one other tool that you need to know for starting out is the layers. So I'll just drag it right here. Okay, so yes, we can drag it over. You don't have to pin it on the side. So this is a way for you to be more organized. So the usual thing people do is creating new layers. So for example, we'll delete this. So we have a fresher, well, layers. Let's delete that, and then I'll create a raster layer. So if I want to put the hearts here, I have that. Next, if I create another raster layer and use a different brush and then another brush, I can just click on the eye icon right here, and it should hide it if I don't want it. So if I want it back, all I need is to click on the eye again. So yeah, you can do that as well. And as you can see, because I drew each brush on a separate layer, I get to do this option. Okay, so another thing is that if you use the move tool right so here, like this, and then choose the layer that you wanted. Okay, let's move the hearts. So I'll click on the layer where there are hearts, and then I have the move tool, and yeah, I can move it around like so. Okay, now another thing here is our vectors. This is a really awesome tool, but it's a bit complicated, so I'll showcase that in another video. So another thing is that you can be organized because you can add a folder. All you need to do is drag all the layers together and place it there, and boom! You get more space on your layers. And then if you want to see it, just click on this arrow key and bam, there you go. And this part's right here, just I don't really use this often. But this one, very important. If you want to delete a layer, just click on this delete layer. Now, let's go ahead and discuss the other options here on the top. One more thing that you can utilize in Eclipse Studio is the transparency first. So yes, depending on the transparency, things will change. I will discuss that in another video because it's going to take a while to discuss. Next is we can clip to layer below, meaning with whichever layer you have. For example, this is the hearts, and then I will clip it. Okay, this is going to be a reference layer. So what I will do is I will create a new raster layer and I will clip it to the layer below. Then whatever it is that I decide to draw will not go over the reference layer that we have at the bottom. There you go. You can see, right? I'm drawing some black stuff there. So, with that said, next is your reference layer. This is a great tool, especially for some of the options that Eclipse Studio has, but I'll discuss that in another video. You can even lock a layer so that you cannot move it nor touch it to avoid mistakes in the future. And you can even lock transparencies and some other fun stuff that we have here. Okay, you can even set a layer as draft, for example. If I click on this, and this is my draft layer, my sketches, before I create my line art. So I can hit it, and it should remind me that this is the layer that I set as a draft. Okay, so again, we can move this back into their specific spot, and that's basically it. Now, if you can see here, there is a tool here. Don't be scared of this. This is just usually just additional things. The quick set, just in case you want shortcuts, you can add it here. This one, it gives you access to your materials that you download from the asset store. And then, yeah, basically just other options that you have here relating to the asset store. Okay, so that's it for now. I hope that helped. If you got confused in any of the parts, please let me know. Clip Studio looks daunting and overwhelming, but I promise you it's worth it to learn it, and I'll do my best to simplify explaining to you the tools so that you and I can enjoy the journey of being artists using Clip Studio Paint. Note, this is not a paid tutorial or stream or video. I do this because I wanted everyone to know how awesome this tool is. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you have questions, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell button so that you get notified whenever we have new videos. Please follow me on my other social media platforms. And if you really are grateful and thankful, please make sure to subscribe to my webtoon, A Dove's Tale on Webtoon and webcomics. I alternate early releases for both platforms, so if you want to know the story, please follow, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye!